Well, hey, and welcome to the Becoming Better podcast. My name's Nate, and I'm so glad you're here. Well, on this episode, we discuss when is it too late to buy Christmas presents. We also talk about Acker last weekend and what we enjoyed and what we didn't enjoy. We then jump into answering a couple questions and talking about last Sunday's message. If you haven't listened to last Sunday's message, I want to encourage you to stop here and give that a listen, as that will help make this conversation make more sense to you. Well, if you're hoping to join us for Christmas this year, we'd love to give you some days and times that we're going to be having those services. On December 23rd, we'll have a service at 6 p.m. Then for the 24th, we'll have 3 services, 2, 4, and 6. We'd love to see you at one of those. Well, without further ado, I hope you enjoy this conversation. How's it going, guys?
Happy Hanukkah, everyone.
Is today day one?
Today is day one of Hanukkah.
Nice. Okay. Well, happy Hanukkah.
I just threw a curveball. Josh's face.
Yeah. That is one thing that came up this weekend. Everybody's like, we need a video podcast. And I'm like, I'm trying.
I don't know if you do.
We're working on this.
Think you do?
Yeah.
Think you do. You don't.
They,
I promise. You don't.
It is not. We have the face for radio.
For radio. So,
Yeah, you don't want to see what's happening in this room.
yeah. They're like, did Jason really fall out of his chair?
Yeah,
last
pretty
week?
close.
And I said, yes. Yes. He threw everything in his lap. And so, but yeah, people want the video.
Hurtful.
So, hey, but I do want to say, last week, so on the podcast, we talked about your addiction. And I want you to know.
Hey, bro.
I want you to know. I want you to know we didn't put it in the game. I wanted this to be a surprise for everybody who listen. And most of the people who listen are also our volunteers. So I didn't want it to come out, but it came up on the questions.
Jason had to do it. There's no way he didn't do it, bro.
Was it you, Jason?
Yeah.
Totally was.
100%,
Oh my
bro.
goodness.
Yeah.
I felt so bad. I was like, I wanted this to be a surprise for our listeners. And
Yeah.
it came up. So
It was, yeah.
That's
And
so
I'm not
funny.
gonna lie, there's been some people who downloaded this game. I'm not gonna call anybody out. I'm not gonna say it because it's not my place. I'm just saying you're gonna be like, oh yeah, and there's a few people in that room who were like, oh yeah,
we need to set some context. What are y'all talking about?
Sorry.
no, we don't need to because
Yeah.
they listened last week. We don't need to say any context. We're fine.
So yes, Josh plays a game on his phone,
Yep.
and I mocked him for it
I
openly.
mean, openly.
And then we had a volunteer appreciation night, and it might have come out. It may.
It was a tiebreaker.
It may have slipped out.
And it was interesting that nobody was actually tied. We just used that question.
No, we had 2 tables.
Meh. It was cool. There was a couple people on like, Josh, I was pretty surprised. I would have not guessed that. So
Yeah.
and two, that other question of the night was like, I was the first chair in the baritone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in the band. So like I walked away. I mean, people were just probably like, man, I don't know now.
Actually, though, the baritone piece, it seemed like that wasn't as surprising. There were quite a few people who said that.
I think it was who I was put in the list with.
Maybe it could
That
be it.
maybe that were like, no way those people did it. But anyways,
It
yeah.
was
So
not Chatham for
yeah,
sure.
and
Yeah.
it could have. Yeah, he didn't even know what a baritone was.
He
so
didn't.
that kind of explained all of that.
Yep.
So, and the great thing is, Jason's was the spit 15 feet, but the person came in and he's like, no, that was gosh, I forgot what it's called, gleet.
Yeah.
And like I can still do that. I was like, no, I got you. We can too. You do it
Yep.
through your teeth.
Yep.
We all got it. So
Yeah. So for those who are volunteers that missed that, I did
spit it out of his mouth.
spit water like 15 feet across the stage and
Yeah.
hit
Twice.
a couple of people. Yeah.
Yeah, twice.
So you
Twice.
missed-
Not only once, twice.
you missed that piece. So
So, sweet. So, my question for you guys, with it being so close to Christmas
Hanukkah, apparently.
and Hanukkah,
today is Hanukkah.
how many more days do I have before I have to finish buying all my gifts? Like,
Ooh.
where do you push it? Because I have a lot of stuff in my Amazon shopping cart.
Oh,
And-
don't they give you like the hey, you got to order by this date
Yeah.
for it to be here?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I heard yesterday that the people who ordered at the beginning of the month or already get notifications that it's
all
late.
the delays. Oh man,
you may be hosed. Yeah. That's all I'm saying. You may be hosed.
Where are you guys with it?
Let's see. When I was unmarried, December 24th.
Yeah,
I would be in the mall.
Yeah,
really
buying things. Oh yeah.
What do you mean before you were married?
No, I'm pretty good now.
I'm not me. I said yesterday, like you got 10 days, which means
that was for you.
It was for sure. It was for me. I feel like the last 3 days are like that's when you're feeling.
I feel like that's how they get you, man. They like bump those prices up. They take advantage of your desperation.
Yep,
that's true. You're in CVS because that's all that's open on Christmas Eve.
Yeah, like here in Prescott, you really can't.
No,
I mean, there's not a lot of places to go.
No.
Now, if I'm in Phoenix, I have zero worries.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go on the 24th. That's where we go to Lexington.
Yeah,
we go to the mall. We buy all the things.
Yeah.
So 24th.
Okay.
But now I'm done. I've been done for a while. I'm just waiting on things to come in.
Yeah.
So just get that out the way. So you're telling me you're not done?
Oh, well, not started, I think is what you mean.
Wow.
Actually, I take that back.
You did start?
Well, I've got a couple of things hidden from my wife. The good thing is she didn't listen to the podcast.
I'm about to say, you don't even got to say that secretly.
Yeah. She don't listen. So I do have a couple of things for her that are, and she typically takes care of the boys, but.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't know. There's probably a few things that still need to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So, what about you? So you've not done anything.
So this was the first year Sarah and I actually like made a list and like went out together to go like shop for our nephews and just
I got you
friends and family. But I was thinking about it. I was like, man, I've never done this. Like I've only ever done Amazon or last minute. So I was thinking about it. Like, when are you guys wrap it up? So
I'm always last minute.
Yeah,
Black Friday. I'm looking. That's when I start to looking.
Yep.
I want to get them deals, man. I want to nail some of those Black Friday.
But they're not deals. All of the things come out now show that, they just may artificially bump things up right before Black Friday, but almost nothing is actually.
Amazon gives me the last 30-day prices. They do that now.
Do you get some good deals?
Yeah, I got a few. Got a couple. And then some things I was like, to your point, I was like, I just wait for that. That's not any cheaper. But
yeah.
People believed it was a deal and they bought them out. And I was like,
yeah,
how you gonna buy all these out, man?
Yep.
And it was shipping. I was a little concerned about shipping getting to me.
Yeah.
There were a couple of things I ordered and I didn't get a date of shipping. And I was
those are always the worst.
I was like that. So I'm just waiting.
Yep.
I'm just hands up in the air. And I've gotten them both. Or one's supposed to be coming today. So we should be taken care of.
Yeah. And then do you guys wrap or gift bags?
Donna wraps. I'll be honest, I'm out of that process. I tell her what everything is, and then I am done. I don't do anything else. I'm not involved in the wrapping process.
I do the wrap. I
like wrapping. Yeah.
Me too. I'm
really
all for the wrapping.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. You want to have something to rip. You don't want to stick in the bag.
No, we wrap everything.
Yeah.
But you do the wrapping?
For my wife, I will.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Or if I'm real desperate, I'll just ask Nana to do it.
Yep.
So I do have Nana built in.
That is true.
I can just take it downstairs and say, hey, will you make sure that this gets under the tree? And that works. Nana still loves me.
Yeah.
We had a friend. She was like a professional. I used to tell her she should go to the mall.
Yeah.
And just wrap it. She was amazing. And it was tight. It was so great. Yeah, that's who I always used in college. I was like, hey, I need you to wrap this for my, family. Could you make this look good? So I'd pay you too. I'll give you 20, 40. I don't care. Just, I can't do this and it look presentable without being in a gift bag. So, yeah.
Interesting.
Our kids like to rip paper.
Yeah.
Except they do it really slow, two of them.
Really?
Yep. Amos is real, like just barely tearing it. He doesn't just go crazy.
Interesting. And who's the other one?
Gideon.
Yeah.
Those
Interesting.
Silas and Judah. They're like wild animals in that place. It's paper everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. Well, let's jump in. Or I actually do want to talk about Acker because we did the Christmas parade and we tailgated that.
We did.
And game changer.
It was.
So we were at Acker. We didn't go to any of the stores. We stayed in the square. We walked around.
It was so many people,
so
man.
many people.
You didn't go, did you?
No.
But
just
we need to figure out how to tailgate Acker as well.
I'm in.
So
I went into a few of the stores and they were just so busy and packed. And man, when you're just not a small guy, I got to turn in like ways that I just
yeah,
I just don't enjoy it. So there's a lot of people there though this year because it was good weather. I don't know if any of the music is good. There's a couple that were not. Let me just tell you. There was one that guy was on a harmonica. He was pretty good.
really?
Yeah, they're in Bashford Courts.
Okay.
I did learn that used to be the J.C. Penney's. I was unaware of that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Bashford Court used to be the J.C. Penney's. The kids, the toys were on like the basement.
Okay.
So
Interesting.
it's from a long-term Prescott person. Told me that.
That's new.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So, but I'd never been in Bashford Courts
Yeah.
ever, and we went in there, and I didn't know there were stairs. I didn't know there were 3 levels. Like I had no clue.
You've never been into Bashford Courts?
No.
I always feel like I'm just gonna go through the floor because you walk on that wooden floor and you just hear everything, and you're like,
For me, the stairs are, they're old.
Yeah.
So they're not like up. They're not, our stairs nowadays are a little bit longer.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're not as steep.
yep.
Yeah.
Those, the pitch on them and the width of the stair,
Yeah.
it makes you a little nervous. My foot does not land on that stair and it's not flush.
Nope.
I'm hanging off a little bit. So, and it's a little bit steeper drop. So
It is.
that's my first. I don't know if I'll go back.
Yeah.
I'll lie to you. They are putting a new, not Mexican.
It is Mexican.
It is going to be a Mexican restaurant.
Yeah.
I thought it was like Puerto Rican or something, but it. But
It might be.
so they're putting a new restaurant
Yeah.
in there.
See how it goes.
But we did Acker Night. It's cool. It's fine. But
And you did Acker Night with no kids this time.
I did Acker Night with no kids.
It's a little bit of a game changer, I think.
Maybe. Maybe. Maybe.
Was it just you two? Just
Yeah, we went to
Did you go with
Wilson.
some friends?
Yeah. And so we went with a couple of other people and just walk around and
Yeah.
do the thing. And so saw, so here's the best story. So I'm standing there in front of, I don't know, Matt's. So right in that area, Matt's Saloon right there. So somebody comes from across the street, so like courthouse, all the way across the street, and goes, "Hey, Pastor, so good to see you. I figured you would be, singing out here tonight in one of these places." And I was like, "Huh, interesting. Okay." So it's so good to see you, husband. So good to see you. And then they leave, and I was like, Corey's standing next to me, and I'm like, "You think she thought I was David?" That's what I'm like. I could carry it too, but nowhere am I like, should I be in a band down at Acker Night? And I'm like,
with your baritone.
with my baritone. I'm like, you think she thought I was David? That's just Saturday I come to men's breakfast and I'm like, David, I think this lady thought I was you. Again,
You look taller on the stage.
You look-
maybe they thought David was bigger than he is.
so it's just really funny. It really caught me off guard. I was like, again, I can keep pitch, it's fine,
Yeah.
but I'm like, I don't know about like singing in a store.
Yep.
I don't know if I'm signing up for that, like publicly to do this thing. I'm all singing worship and do that, but I'm like, so I was pretty dumbfounded. But she was certain that she came across the street to chat with me. And again, I was like, man, maybe have I sit by her in worship? Maybe that's why but I just think she thought I was David. So that was my Acker Night story.
Nice.
So
Might have to get you in one of those stores then.
let's go. Let's create I'm in. Me and Jason will play the steel banjo and get after it.
Yeah.
I got the kazoo.
Sold.
Let's go.
Let's play the.
All right.
Yeah.
Sweet. Well, look for us in 2026.
Don't say that. People will really be like, do not sign us up for Acker Night.
And for those of you who don't know, Nate actually plays music.
Yeah.
He's actually a musician.
So yeah, we'll
Plays the guitar,
get something.
bass, electric. I don't know what he plays.
Way more than Jason and I.
Way more than Jason and I. I could play a Walkman. That's what I got.
you probably just a whole half of people went, what?
And then the other half are looking through their.
They've still got one
to pull one out for him. So they're gonna
somebody
show up.
You remember the don't skip button when you had the CD Walkman?
Oh, those were called Discman.
I'm sorry, my bad.
Yes,
but like was like the anti-skip button.
The anti-skip.
It didn't really work, man. You try to run with that thing, it still skip.
you got the anti-shock and the anti-skip. Yes,
man.
Those were the fancy models that came out a little later. Yeah, for sure.
That's the one I had.
Yeah, you roll like that.
That's how we roll, man. We had no way you had a Discman, right?
No,
you're probably iPod Shuffle or just iPod.
So I just had I got one of the nice stereo CD with the 6 CDs on the top.
Ooh,
so I had one of those.
A multi-disc changer. Mm-hmm. So I had a boombox I would carry around for a little while in my we walked down the street with
that tracks.
Yep. Walk down the street with it, baby. Down in the dangerous streets of Chandler, Arizona.
Yeah. And he still can't hear out of his right ear.
I can't. I really can't. I have to turn subtitles on. So I'd laugh at Jason all the time about his eyes, but I'm really I'm like, man, I can't. I got to turn that TV up kind of loud. Mm-hmm. I think my eyes will be fine. I'll be able to see
because you're bump down the street with a boombox.
Had nothing to do with headphones up on. We
didn't have no headphone. You just stick your speaker right on your ear. What are we talking about? Headphones. I want to hear it, but I also want the guy 400 yards away to hear it.
And I had a pretty loud car system too.
Let's go.
Yeah, for a couple years. So I definitely had the subs in the back.
Yep.
Friends all had those. So, again, it's the life we live.
Yep.
Could you listen to Dre any other way?
No. Yeah, I don't think you can.
No.
I don't think you can.
You got to have the loud bass on.
Yep.
Rumble in your trunk. Oh, love it.
All right, let's jump
That was a long meandering. Thanks for staying with us, everybody.
Yeah. Sweet. Let's jump in. Where we just finished Luke chapter 1 verses 26 through 45. And Josh, you were out in PV this last Sunday. So how'd it go? What'd you see? What'd you hear? How was your Sunday?
Yeah, it was fun to get to hang out in Prescott Valley. And, getting to be out there with that group of folks. I hadn't been out there in a little bit, and so it was good to reconnect with people and just get to worship out there and enjoy being in church there. So I thought the message was really good. I thought we got some of the podcast banter back around like, Nate, that was good. Everybody, I'll be honest, man, it was so sad. But again, so some of the pieces that were really fun is just obviously, trying to put myself in, which I don't think I've ever done, but trying to put myself in 15-year-old Mary's shoes. Yeah. We had talked a couple weeks ago when we were talking about Zechariah. You had already shared the thing about Mary that she doesn't question. She just goes, all right, but I know how this works. I don't know how this can be. I really love that we one of the redos was the additional information around that God did not have physical relations with Mary.
Yeah.
That it was just the Holy Spirit. That is just what had happened. And so that was really, I'm glad that we were able to actually work that out more in depth.
Yeah, we should talk about that for just a second because, we had a couple of lines in the message, and then that was one of the things that kind of in our talk through was like, do we need to spend a couple of more minutes on that and to bring some more clarity around it? Because it's just so hard for us, just as human beings, to not equate pregnancy with sex. Mm-hmm. Like that's just what.
Yeah, it's just what happens.
It's all we know.
Yeah.
And so to have a pregnancy devoid of sex, it's like that just brings so many questions. And it's been a stumbling block for people for a really long time. Mm-hmm. The virgin birth specifically. Yep. And then people trying to explain it away, just as we talked about. putting stories together of, well, the gods came down and did the deed.
Yeah.
And that's how people, and it's like, we got to make sure and put a big underline under the idea that's not what happened. That's not what Scripture teaches anywhere. And so I don't know if more people had questions, if that was helpful for more people than just for us.
Yeah.
But because you and I, we have these conversations, we know the history, and we know people who think like that. I don't know if our people are bumping into that question on a regular basis.
Yeah, maybe not. But again, obviously, it is, to your point, it's been something that's been challenged since the early church, is why they created the creeds that made sure to say Jesus born of a virgin.
Yeah.
Because it was being challenged. They said, no. These are again, as we would say, the non-disputable matters of the faith. It is a virgin birth.
Yeah.
And so because there were so many claims early on, and there are modern religions now that claim.
Yeah, we talked about it. I mentioned one. I mean, Brigham Young from the Latter-day Saints came out. Now, they don't officially hold that position today. If you were to ask them, that's what they would say. But Brigham Young spoke as if, and again, we can get into Mormonism, but part of the idea of Mormonism is that you become a god and you at some point are going to have multiple wives and you're going to populate a planet. Like that's part. And so when you take that idea and you lay that across and say, Yahweh God was one of those gods. He is our Father God, and he's making spiritual then all of a sudden, well, of course that's what he would do.
Yeah. Right.
And so again, so just trying to clarify, like that is not the Orthodox Christian position. Like that's just not what we believe, and that's not what Scripture teaches.
Yeah. So we have that very tightly held piece. And then the last thing was, a couple weeks ago when we started the Luke thing, we, you've been reading it in the mornings. So I had read and bracketed, "For no word from God will ever fail." Like that verse, when I was reading ahead, just, reading that, put brackets on that one because it just, and even in my quiet reading time, jumped out going, oh, do I believe that? Do I really believe that? Do I really? To Jason's point, then do I really live like that?
Yeah.
And so, I'm glad we were able to just spend some time there and hang out in there and, kind of preach that part of it, that it is the promise.
Yeah. Yeah. What stuck out to me was, loved the comment Jason made about Gabriel getting sent back down, but not to like Rome or like these nice cities, to Bethlehem or Nazareth. To Nazareth, and it being like, what's interesting is just as Jason was speaking about it, just thinking through like, man, like this town is like a launching point. Like before, this moment, like it was just like a quiet town, like nothing really happening. It was probably like a happy little town. And now this huge thing is coming through, and just getting excited about, chapter 2 and just getting to dive into that. And even like knowing in Matthew, getting to see Joseph and that story told, just got me excited to kind of get into this Christmas spirit. And then the other thing that popped out was, like Josh said, just the Mary having faith and asking how, and not like questioning. And that kind of, I walked out thinking through kind of the promises that Jason had like talked through and figuring out, just asking myself, like, am I leaning more like Zechariah or am I leaning more like Mary? And that's kind of what I walked away with, and just kind of reading through those promises that we got to take home with us, and just really challenging the question of, all right, how am I questioning and believing like that, or
oh yeah, Mary? For sure.
So
yeah, I mean, I shared with the staff this morning. So I'm in prayer, and I'm in the front. I have like 6 or 7 prayers or 6 or 7 verses that Jesus specifically talks about prayer. And they're all like basically ask it and you'll receive it. And those are, and I think we have one on there on the list about ask, seek, and knock. I think it was, or Jason said in the sermon, but those are, again, my prayer time this morning, the question was, do I actually pray like that? Again, it is, sometimes I don't really believe like whatever you ask in my name, it will be given to you. Like what, if again, your question was if we believed all those promises, I'm just this morning going, man, what if I prayed that way? If I prayed that Jesus actually says these things to me to really pray, I would pray a lot different, I bet, you know? So it was just a good segue into our prayer time this morning, just with those promises. And these are the ones for me that, again, I read them and they're the red letters of Jesus. And I go, like intellectually, I believe that they are true.
Yeah.
Right? Intellectually, I see them. But to Jason's point with the question was, do I live like that? That is where like the rubber meets the road. Like what happens if we lived this way? How much different would this be? If we lived all these promises were true, how much different would some of this be? So that's part of it's just really good. Great way to, I think wrestle with some of that over the next several weeks.
Yeah. And then the last thing that stuck out to me was I love that we didn't cut it off at 38, but you added in Mary visiting Elizabeth. And I think it was awesome getting to read those texts and seeing John jumping in Elizabeth's womb.
Yeah.
And just kind of reading, how John knew right away when Mary showed up.
Yep.
And how Elizabeth said those words to Mary. So, Jason, would you have added anything else to this sermon?
The only thing, excuse me, I was thinking about that kind of got put it on the chopping block a little bit was just to make that point about how little anybody knew about Galilee or Nazareth, that Luke went out of his way to add in the region of Galilee. And so I thought about, a way to share that understanding is if somebody lived in Arizona and you met them and you would say, oh yeah, we live up in Prescott. That's all you'd have to say because they know they're around here. But if you met somebody in Colorado and they ask, hey, where are you from? And you said, I'm from Prescott. They'd just probably look at you like, that doesn't mean it. Prescott's in Arizona. Oh, great. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, it's in northern Arizona. Oh, okay. You have to have that extra context. And I love, just thinking about who Luke is writing this, and he's writing this to Theophilus, who's probably a Roman, a Greek of some sort, and he has no idea. And so he knows of probably Galilee because Capernaum's in Galilee. There's a couple of big trade routes that go through Galilee, but he didn't know every town in Galilee.
Yeah.
And so, it just made me just think about, again, this is a real dude writing this to a real dude. Luke's writing this to Theophilus, and he wants him to kind of get a picture in his head. And so he says he went to Nazareth, which he needed the context. That's up in Galilee. It's in northern Israel. Oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense. And so that was, again, it's just one of those small little details that you can just kind of run right past. I didn't add this, but I had my 14-year-old son. So Eli, my youngest, he comes up to me at Pastor's Point and he says, thinking about verse 45, where it says, blessed is she who has believed that the Lord would fulfill his promises to her. And he made the connection that I didn't make. He says, I wonder if Elizabeth said that because Zechariah didn't believe it. When the angel said to her, I wonder if Elizabeth said that because she's looked at her husband who for 9 months hasn't said anything or 6 months hasn't said anything to anybody. And so he fell under a bit of a curse. He got a bit of a smackdown. And Elizabeth then looks at Mary and says, well, blessed are you because you did believe that it would be fulfilled. Zechariah doubted it would be fulfilled, and you believed it. And so I just thought that was a really cool insight that my 14-year-old come and shared with me.
Yeah, that is awesome. That's really good.
Yeah. So, and then there was a question that someone submitted, and it was kind of referring back to, I think it could be both weeks. But she said, I know we are taught in the Bible to be patient with prayer. Example, Sarah, Hannah, Elizabeth, as well as many others. And I know that many promises God has given us about taking care of us. He will supply all of our needs, etc. However, we are all taught that the answer is not always yes, no matter how long we pray for it. In the lesson last week, Pastor Jason talked about not giving up and keep praying because the answer will come in God's time. How do we know when God has answered with a no? It is very hard to not get discouraged when you pray for many, many years and have not received a yes. What if God answered no already? How do we know? Do we continue to pray and accept the fact that we may never know the answer in this life? If this is the case, can you share ideas to keep us from not being discouraged or giving up on prayer thinking the answer is no? I realize there's many people in the Bible who pray for a very long time and the answer is yes. Are there people who pray and the prayer answer is no or not answered at all? So there's a couple of questions in this. So I guess let's go with the first one. How do we know when God has answered with a no?
Before we answer that one, I would love to back up just a little bit because I would just like to reframe a little bit of the context that she set for us. If I heard you right, Nate, she said that we're taught we are to be patient in prayer. Right? Is that the phrase?
Yeah.
I would just say, instead of saying that we are to be patient in prayer, I think the teaching is we are to be persistent in prayer. I think we need to shift the understanding. We are to be persistent. And we'll get to this in 2 to 6 years, but in Luke 18, in Luke chapter 18, I immediately thought of this text when you asked this question.
Yeah.
Okay. Luke 16. In many of the parables that we have in Scripture, you kind of get the story, and then there's the moral of the story, or the point of the message comes at the end. In Luke 18, Luke gives us the point first. So he gives us the what he wants us to learn, and then he tells us the story from Jesus. And so I want to look at it real quick. It's Luke 18, starting at verse 1. It says, "Then Jesus told his disciples a parable, and here's why: to show them that they should always pray and not give up." And then he goes on to tell a story about a persistent widow who's nagging this judge looking for justice. This is a guy, the text says he doesn't care about God, he doesn't care about people, but this woman just keeps nagging him and nagging him and nagging him to get justice. And eventually he caves in and says, "Listen, just do something. Help her. I don't want her to attack me." And then here's how it ends. "And the Lord said, 'Listen to what the unjust judge says. And will not God bring about justice for his chosen ones who cry out to him day and night? Will he keep putting them off? I tell you, he will see that they get justice, and quickly.'" So there's this idea of, it's not about patience in prayer, it's about persistence. That's the thing that we're invited to over and over and over again, is to persist in our prayers. And so I think that's the thing I want us to internalize. Now, the question is, how do we know if the answer is no?
Yeah.
Outside of praying for something sinful, which I think we have been wont to do, I'm praying for something that's out of my greed or out of my sheer selfishness or comfort. And I'm not praying in accordance to the will of God. Outside of those, put those aside for a second. I don't know that we should ever stop or accept the answer of no. If we're praying for something that we know aligns with the will of God, whether it be a loved one to come to faith, or a need to be met, or a healing to come, like, I think I want to always assume the answer is yes. And I don't know when it's going to come about, or how it's going to come about, or even if it's going to come about. But I'm going to pray that way. And I think, Josh, you were just talking about it when you were thinking about, let's pray assuming that God wants to answer the prayers of his loved ones, of his children. And so I'm just going to assume the answer is yes, even if it hasn't come to pass. I think the answer we know is no is when the prayer isn't possible anymore. And what I mean by that is I think about the story of David. And you all remember the story of David when he and Bathsheba had their adulterous affair. She ends up pregnant. She has the baby, and part of the punishment, which this is a whole crazy thing, is the child gets sick. And David prays and fasts and prays and fasts, praying for the life of this child to be spared. And eventually the child dies. A couple of his servants come, and they're standing in the corner, and he's been wailing, and he's been fasting, and he's been praying nonstop, begging for the life of this child. And he sees his servants over in the corner, and they're whispering back and forth like, you go tell him. No, you go tell him. I don't want to tell him. You go tell him. And David looks over and sees me and says, just say it. Has the child died? And they say, yeah. And David does the opposite of what most of us would do in that moment. The text says he gets up, goes and he washes his face, and he changes his clothes, and he sits down and he has a meal. And his servants are just beside themselves. Like, this is not how you act. Like, why would you do that? Like, this is the time to really be wailing. And he's no, it's not. It's like, when there was still a possibility that he could be healed, I'm praying and I'm fasting and I'm praying, but now that possibility is past, and he won't come to me, but I'll go to him. And that was his attitude. But there was that line that he knew from that point on, praying and fasting for him that's the time's past for that.
Yeah.
But up until that point, he assumed that God can and would potentially bring healing to this child. And so I think that's a picture for us to say, look, I think we just persist in our prayers until it's no longer possible for that prayer to be answered.
And then how would you guys recommend not being discouraged or giving up on a prayer, thinking the answer is no?
Yeah, that one is a little harder.
I mean, I think finding solace in the stories of others who have just prayed and prayed and prayed and prayed. And again, there are those in the Bible, obviously reading, Zachariah and Elizabeth. The encouragement was the Lord has heard your prayer.
Yeah.
Again, I think that's the assumption I think we make, is when he is not answering means he is not hearing. And that's not it.
Yeah.
A God's silence doesn't mean, that he's being unattentive. It just is, he's just not answered in our time and the way we envision and the way we'd hoped and the way we actually want. So anyways, I think that's a part is hearing other people share their stories that they've prayed for decades. And then God answers. It's encouraging. It does give you the faith to continue to do this. And I only hear those stories. Again, you can read them obviously from accounts in the Bible or from other things. But also when I hear them from other people that I'm connected with and in community with, and again, to what we've been saying, not just staring at the back of someone's head on a Sunday morning.
Yep.
When I'm hearing and I'm praying alongside and with and for. So, that helps. I would say, me at least, is the faithful saints that have gone before me.
Yep.
Who have also prayed. And I honestly, too, some of the stories of people who've prayed for years and God didn't answer it, and they're not bitter in the way they've prayed. And I don't think they'd look back and go, well, I wish I would have stopped that. It's never what in those deep, honest prayers that they've leaned in and trusted the Lord and prayed and sought after him. And I think sometimes that is also the reward.
Yeah.
The interceding and the praying and the begging and the trusting and the believing and I think the discouragement is a part of that. And I think all of that wraps up into hopefully a deeper level of trust in the Lord. Because at all of those turns, we get to decide to show up again today and pray.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I could stop, or I could lean in and trust even more. And so I think it is a way that grows our faith and stretches our faith. And so there's a couple of things I would say.
Yeah, I think you nailed it on the head with the community aspect of it.
Yeah.
I just feel like when you have that community interceding with you in prayer, that's, you have people that are, just walking with you and encouraging you and just walking alongside with you in prayer. I think is just a huge part of it. And I love our prayer team that meet, Wednesday morning and then even on Sunday after church, just doing that for others and just getting to see, the people that go over there asking for prayer and even just the prayer wall that we've been doing, being able to just step into prayer for others, I think is just very impactful and, a huge part of it. So,
yeah, again, I think it's really that Luke 18 text. He told them a parable to teach them to pray and not give up. And I think the fact that Jesus gave that parable to teach us to pray and to not give up, there is built into that a recognition that there's this thing in us that wants to give up. Like there is a spiritual battle, even in prayer. You think about, I think about the story of Daniel. One of the crazy stories from Daniel is that Daniel prayed and he was seeking God and asking, and it's like 10 days later, Michael shows up, Gabriel shows up, the same guy. I think it's Gabriel. Y'all can fact check me on that. But Daniel gets this angel who shows up to answer his prayer. And he says, yeah, the Lord heard you, and he answered immediately. And then there was this spiritual warfare, and I've been in jail for the last 10 days trying to get this answer to you. I mean, it's this crazy story that God did hear, and God did send, and the Lord was clearly ready to answer his prayer. But there was spiritual warfare that hindered that answer from getting to Daniel. And so I just don't think we can take that out of the equation. Like there is that part of us that the enemy wants to fight us in the midst of our prayers. And so we are going to be discouraged, and we are going to be, there is going to be this thing in us that wants to quit. But Jesus specifically gave a teaching to teach us to pray and to not give up. Nate, did you fact check me there? It was Gabriel?
No, it doesn't say who it is.
It doesn't.
No.
Oh,
Says
well, I know Gabriel shows up a couple times in
Yeah.
Daniel. That must not be one of them. Yeah, give us the
Yeah. So this is Daniel 10:12.
There
It
you
says,
go.
Then he continued, "Do not be afraid, Daniel, since the first day that you set your mind to gain understanding and humble yourself before God, your words were heard, and I have come in response to them. But the prince of the Persian kingdom resisted me 21 days."
21 days.
That's why people do the Daniel fast.
Yeah,
21 days.
getting spiritual warfare. His prayer was immediately answered, and he didn't hear an answer for 21 days.
Yep.
That's pretty crazy. Here's the other thing I would say, as it relates to the discouragement piece, and I shared this with some of our team this morning. One of the verses that I read this morning is Isaiah chapter 26. And in Isaiah 26, verse 3, it says, "You will keep in perfect peace those whose those whose minds are steadfast because they trust in you. God will keep in perfect peace those whose minds are steadfast because they trust in you. You said it in your answer about 3 times about trusting in God. Like part of the prayer is just learning to trust in God. And part of the reason I don't have to get despondent in my prayers or want to give up is because I grow in my trust in God. And He keeps us in peace, those who learn to trust Him. And so if He doesn't answer my prayer today, I'm going to trust that He can do it tomorrow. And if He doesn't answer tomorrow, I'll trust that He can do it the next day. And if He doesn't answer it for 10 years, I'm going to trust that there's a reason that my prayer hasn't been answered. And at the end of the day, I can have peace even if the answer is no, because I trust Him. I trust the character of my God. I trust the history that I've been walking in. I trust the way that I've seen Him show up in my life and the way I've seen Him show up in other people's lives. And so if I've got this prayer that I'm praying and it's not being answered in the way that I want, I lay that beside. I trust my God. And so because I trust Him, I have peace, even if He doesn't answer this prayer. And so I think it's just a reminder for us, even in the unanswered prayers, to trust in the character of God.
That's good.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, I think that's where we'll end. Hope you guys have a good week, and we'll see you Sunday.